On today's episode of Forgotten Rails, Aries and I will be exploring the Shoreline Trolley Museum.
We have about 98 cars, buses, trolleys.
It's actually the oldest continuously operated suburban trolley line in the United States.
Since railroads were introduced to the United States, thousands of lines have been built. And while some are alive and going strong, others have long since disappeared. I'm your host, Timothy W. Lawrence. Along with my sidekick, Aries the Siberian Husky, we're going to search the nation, exploring and sharing the history of these rails. Whether abandoned, exempt, or currently active, if there's a history, we'll find it. So hop on up, because it's all aboard for Forgotten Rails. Located only minutes off of I-95 in East Haven, Connecticut, and within a stone's throw from the ocean, is the Shoreline Trolley Museum. Yeah, look, we're so excited! Aries just couldn't wait to check out all the museum had in store.
We have a number of exhibits that are, we've got hands-on exhibits, things about technology as well as the art of restoration, because we restore cars here at the Trolley Museum. You can see the different towns where the trolleys ran throughout Connecticut. This particular exhibit, the Toonerville Trolley, is a great example of the trolley car in pop culture. And the Toonerville Trolley was a comic strip, like any popular comic strip of today. It was about the motorman and the adventures of his little trolley car. There's some terrific hands-on exhibits as well for the kids. So as we press the button and crank the handle, we'll see the trolley moving along the line, and you can see the voltmeter go up, so you know you're generating that electricity, and it goes backwards and forwards.
After checking out the museum, the staff were kind enough to take Aries and I for a ride on one of their vintage trolleys. It didn't take long for her to be right at home.
2 dings on the trolley bell means that we're going forward. That gives a warning to everybody outside. So we're riding now. It's such a different feel than any modern vehicle today. Beautiful wood, the car cards with the vintage advertising. Those are a lot of fun, and that's something really fun too to have your kids take a look at. You can really engage them in conversation, products that don't exist anymore, or some that still do. The controllers, there's the power controller where he takes power, and then the brake handle. So it's all up above. There's no, I think, on this car, I think the only thing operated by foot is the bell. Oh, and we have a whistle as well.
Hi! You're enjoying the trolley ride, aren't you, girl? Yes, she is.
Fresh air and cool breeze makes for a happy pop. As you ride, you could be on any number of operational trolleys.
We have over 60 operators that are all volunteers here that actually operate our demonstration line. It's a lot different than if you operated for a trolley company or a modern day bus company, because every car is different. We have to teach our 5 service cars how to operate them differently because they're from different manufacturers.
Now it takes a lot of training, as you've seen, to properly operate these cars. It's pretty easy to make them go. It's a lot harder to make them stop, and it's very difficult to make them stop smoothly and accurately. So when we train our trolley operators, they actually go through an intensive 5-week training class. We have a much more compact training class that takes about 2 hours that we call guest operator. And they come and they'll run a trolley car such as this one, 1602, which is from right here in New Haven, was built in 1911. We give them a quick lesson, basic controls. This is what makes the car go, this is what makes the car stop, and then they run the car down the line. We don't do that with live passengers, just their family and guests. And it's a great experience, and many people tell us it's something they've been trying to do their whole life.
One of the things you'll see on our line, which is not authentic, is our subway signals. Some are from the New York City subway system. They actually help us keep trolleys running smoothly, but 75% of the line's on a curve. They're blind curves, so we use the signals to keep the spacing of the trolleys.
I really love this museum. I just think it's the neatest place. My mother grew up on these trolleys going from Hamden to New Haven, so I kind of have a personal a liking to them. I've been here for 3 years. Last year I produced 75 digital print and billboard ads for the museum. So if you ever see this high yellow with the red, you know it's a Shoreline trolley ad. You can't quite miss it, particularly as a marketing person that does advertising. My other favorite thing is these advertisements. They are so much fun. I saw this ad a couple weeks ago on one of the trolleys and I had to laugh because it is so different now than then. And now read what it says. Read what it says.
Who can fix our radio, Mother? Let's look in the yellow pages of the telephone book.
Now, first of all, what child would say, "Who can fix our radio, Mother?" Mom, I need a new radio. I'm going to go out and buy one. I can just get one on my cell phone. I'm good to go. And kids these days would have no idea what the yellow pages are.
Throughout the year, there are so many different types of wildlife that you can see. Along the water, we have egrets, herons. We have several osprey nesting boxes. Most of them are usually in use. I'm trying to see if there's one now.
And indeed there was. After the ride, Aries and I were dropped off at the yard, where we met up with John Stoneline, who took us for a tour and showed us the lay of the land.
Let me show you the lay of the trolley yard here, and as trolleys and everything else go by, there's a lot that goes on down here. Service was basically stopped for trolleys in Connecticut in 1947. And it's those buses that over there that actually replace the trolley cars. And now we have them as a part of our museum collection. And we have about 98 cars, buses, trolleys, and the average age this year is 102 years old.
Well, we're one of the few trolley museums in the country that also has an impressive collection of operable rapid transit equipment. This is car 6688. It's actually the newest car in our collection. It's built in 1955. And you may recognize this as the car that appeared in the recent Spider-Man movie. We leased this car out and it was shipped down to Long Island where they filmed in a soundstage and then they shipped it back to us.
This car was built, I believe in 1939 by Third Avenue Railway Company from parts and pieces. And after World War II, this was shipped to Austria and they used it in service from 1946, 47 to 1967.
To house the collection, barns were built. Inside were some very interesting trolleys.
You'll see a lot of yellow cars in our collection, and this one's special. You can see the real Tiffany glass window, and this was the president of the Connecticut Car Company's private car. You can see the wicker seats and a nice ice chest in there and so forth. And when he wasn't using it, he lent it to the governor of Connecticut. So this was the governor's car also. Okay, this is my favorite car. This is the Breezer, and this actually used to operate in downtown New Haven. And there was capacity for 72 seats for people to sit down. But as you can see here, when there's a Harvard-Yale football game, they packed 200 people on these cars, and off they went. Well, when you think of trolleys, this car here operated in 3rd Avenue in New York City. It was built in 1892. 1892. Still operates today. We have the lights on, beautiful woodwork, and so forth.
Having so many cars means lots of maintenance. Luckily, the museum has a fully equipped repair shop.
Well, here we are in the shop. We actually have telephone poles here that with railroad tracks on top, so that this basically becomes a pit. And this is our New Orleans car, number 850. It was manufactured in 1926, along with the streetcar named Desire. Next to me is a 356. This car was completely underwater in the hurricane of '38. We literally have taken this and put a whole new front. We've actually replaced all the wood here. We shaved it down to the original size. When we worked on this car, we actually had silt. We had to take mud out of the ceiling of this car.
You know, another important thing that's going on here at the Trolley Museum that is in its final phases is a project that we called Elevating the Collection.
Well, we're on the Connecticut coastline, so like so many other people, we were affected by Hurricane Irene and then Superstorm Sandy. The electric motors in trolley cars are low. They're in the wheels, and electric motors in salt water don't mix very well.
And if you were here in Hurricane Sandy, the water in this location came up to about here. Whereas we had 59 cars that prior to Hurricanes Irene and Sandy could operate under their own power, 53 of those were damaged in the various floods.
So we basically had a campaign to collect funds and basically build 2 barns where we can keep our collection about 12 feet above sea level.
We've put 24,000 square feet and about 2,500 track feet up above the floodplain, up at elevation 14. And we're currently in the process of building the tracks that are going to connect our historic 114-year-old railway to these brand new buildings.
There's something for everyone here. And in every season, the line itself in the winter, when we have snow, we actually have trolley snow plows because, you know, the trolley lines had to keep their line clean too.
The museum has activities year-round, from the Easter and Christmas trolleys to the haunted aisle, where you can get scared for a good cause.
The percentage of the profits and the proceeds goes to Wags and Whiskers, which is our charity, which helps the West Haven Animal Shelter, and we support other animal shelters as well.
Folks come through in the dark here. The trolleys drop you off in the yard, and then they follow this trail as we go up through and scare the bejesus out of people.
Typically last year, the average was about 1,000 people a night we were doing. And some nights when it got closer to Halloween, we were spiking up to about 1,400, I think was the biggest number.
And the visit is not complete without learning a little bit about Frank Sprague, an incredible inventor who was the contemporary of Westinghouse and Edison. He fathered not only the first citywide trolley system, but industrial motors, subway and electric elevated trains, high-speed electric elevators. The only reason we don't really know his name that well today is because when he created his inventions, he sold his patents to names that we do know, like General Electric, Westinghouse, Otis Elevator. And our building is named after him. We are in the Sprague Building.
We're a National Historic District. This trolley line has been here since July 31st, 1900. It's actually the oldest continuously operated suburban trolley line in the United States. And not only is the line recognized on the National Register of Historic Places, but our entire collection is listed as a supporting element of the historic district.
With so much happening, it's no wonder the museum's a 2014 Best of pick in Yankee Magazine.
So coming for a ride at the Trolley Museum, we can ride the actual antique cars as well as look at our displays. I think that really rounds out a visit, and it's a lot of fun with a little bit of education thrown in.